Okay, so today's workshop, I'm going to be talking about how to detoxify your beauty products. This like encompasses, yes, makeup, but not everybody is like a huge makeup person. Like I'm not a huge makeup person. So this also encompasses like skincare and then a little bit of and hygiene products, which are super important, and a little bit of household products that we'll get into a little bit. So I'm going to mainly be talking about these top 8 chemicals, which will also encompass other chemicals that are linked to these specific chemicals in hygiene products and makeup and skincare. And so, one, I just want to share how to become more aware, why it's important, how is it affecting us as women in our health in particular. Men definitely do get affected, but women in particular are a lot more affected. And then 3, walking away with some really good swaps. So if you got your box, you got some really good goodies. I don't know if you guys have opened your box yet, but you guys have some really cool samples. So we'll go in there, we'll go and talk about that as well towards the end, and then questions you guys have. But if you guys have any swaps that you guys want to talk about, or maybe that have worked really well for you, please hop on, like tell us. I want to hear what everybody else healthy swaps have you guys found. Because I found a lot, but I'm not the expert in every single category. So we'll definitely share that with each other. The rating that we'll particularly be using is the environmental working group rating. So some of you might be familiar and some of you may not, but this is a company that particularly speaks out about toxic chemicals in hygiene products and our skincare products, and they have amazing articles that you can go and look into in their website. I also really love to use them when I'm shopping and I just don't know what something is. I will literally go to Google and type in skindeep.com, and you'll just type in the ingredient, and it'll pull up if it is, how hazardous this is, how hazard it is, and why it's hazardous. What is it linked to? And so a lot of the orange is linked to skin irritation. More of the reds are linked to autoimmune issues or cancers and things like that. And they will tell you, and it will bring up the articles that they researched on. So it's really awesome. So we'll be using that. There's other companies that I've pulled from in this workshop. I had to write them down just because I wanted to remember. So the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics is a really awesome website as well. I use them a lot. And then I found a really cool one, and it's Women's Voices for the Earth. Now, this was a new one that I will talk about later in the workshop, but they were created in 1996, and they've been producing some really awesome articles on hazardous chemicals as well. So, if anybody else has any other website that they found that they really like, please share. I would love to hear. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit. Why are clean products important? I don't have the book with me. I'm currently in the process of moving, and so I wanted to have this book with me today, but I didn't. So it's by Dr. Stephen Cabral, and most of you have heard me talk about him. He's absolutely amazing. He's a functional medicine doctor, and he's been in the business for over 10 years. And he wrote a book 5 years ago, and he talked about all of the hazardous ways, not hazardous, all of the ways that our bodies become toxic. And his book is called The Rain Barrel Effect. I think that everybody should read this book. It's super easy, and it talks about how to improve your health, how to have better longevity, how to detox all of the ways that we're exposed to chemicals, food, hygiene products, our water, what else? Heavy metals, parasites, everything. He encompasses everything. So it's a super easy read. At that time, there was 77,000 man-made chemicals in the United States. Holy moly, that's a lot. But now there's 120,000 man-made chemicals in the United States. In Europe, 5 years ago, there was 8,000 chemicals. Now there's about 10 or 11,000. Their standards for allowing chemicals in is way different, way more strict. And pretty much the US is like a dumping ground for chemicals. Like the US is known for changing certain ingredients in Europe to meet their standards. Here, I think us as Americans are just not as aware, and our government policies are just different. And so, on average, women in particular expose themselves to 15 personal care products a day. And that equals about around 168 chemicals in our bodies. Not only is that affecting birth rates, but it's also affecting women's hormones. Now, I haven't read any articles about this, but my educated hypothesis would say that it's also linked to PCOS, so polycystic ovarian syndrome, and endometriosis. And it's unfortunate because even if you're like the most low maintenance person and you don't use a whole lot of, or if any, makeup or skincare, you still brush your teeth, I hope. You still wash your clothes, you still use cleaning products in your house. I'm sure there's still some lotion that you're exposed to. And so all of these chemicals accumulate in our bodies, not just from when you use them, but when your mother was exposed to them. And so they're finding that the EWG actually did a study. It was called the 10 American study, and they tested 400 chemicals in these Americans and found 272 chemicals, not in the women, but in their babies, in their fetus. And a lot of these chemicals are going into the placenta and leaking into the fetus. And so kids are literally being born with already so many chemicals in their body. And so if we're not intentionally detoxing our bodies, that's already predispositioning ourselves to have inflammation. So we need to reclaim our health, and we need to bring more awareness to this by promoting and buying products that have our best interest. So first chemical that I wanted to share with you guys is a carbon black. Now, I'm not a huge, this is mainly found in mascara, but you can also find it in eyeliner, nail polish, eyeshadow, brush on brow, so those things that make your brows darker, lipstick, blushers, foundations. And so this is a product that's made from petroleum chemicals. Excuse me. Petroleum chemicals are known carcinogens. Carcinogens cause cancer. We know that. The Institute of Cancer says that. The National Cancer Institute recognizes that carcinogens cause cancer. And so whether there is a natural form, but there's a synthetic form as well, both of them have a high risk of heavy metals like aluminum. Aluminum and mercury are going to be the main heavy metals that we'll talk about today because they're so prevalent in makeup, in certain skincares, mainly in makeup, and they're absolutely detrimental to our immune system, to our endocrine system, to our brain health, so many things. And the most frustrating part is that if you have heavy metal exposure, you can have a wide range of symptoms. And you might get tested from your PCP and get all of this blood work, and everything comes out normal. Excuse me. I actually have a client who knows that she's had heavy metal exposure. Siri thinks I'm talking to him, but I'm not. Who knows that she's had heavy metal exposure, gotten her all of her labs done that she can through her PCP, and everything came back normal. So recognizing that one, the PCP, your primary care physician's labs are going to be different than a functional medicine labs because their biomarkers are going to be different. So if you feel like you've ever gotten exposure to heavy metals, you want to specifically test for that. And we have labs that do that. We have at-home labs that you can test. We also have a heavy metal protocol. But so this chemical is also found, like I said, in lipstick. So we're also ingesting it. So we're not just putting it in our skin, we're ingesting it. And as some of you know or may not know, our skin is our largest organ. So what we put on literally gets absorbed into our bloodstream. It is so, so important that we're putting things that are not harmful and causing inflammation. This is also classified as a PAH, so it's a polycystic aromatic. I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. So if you see me looking at my notes, let's see, where is it? So it's a polycystic aromatic hydrocarbon chemical. There we go. This is a high-risk cancer chemical. It's also a forever chemical. And some of these that we're going to go through, forever chemicals, they just don't break down in the environment. They're always going to be there. So that is also going to be extremely important. In terms of healthy swaps, one, definitely looking for brands that don't contain carbon, the carbon black. And the way that you identify that is I literally just, if I want to buy something, I will Google, is this a clean brand? One brand that I really, really love is Merit. This is one of their lipsticks. Merit is a clean brand and it's cruelty-free, and you can get it at Sephora. There's also one called Hourglass, and they are also a really clean brand, and they donate 1% of their proceeds to animal shelters, which is super cool. Um, so I really love that. I do have a list of beauty brands at the end that we'll go through, but other names that Carbon Black is under is DNC Black number 2, Acetylene Black, Chanel Black, Furant Black, Lamp Black, and Thermal Black. So you don't obviously have to remember these names. I don't remember every single chemical. The main thing that I look out for is I just try and recognize brands that I know are clean. And unfortunately, I also have to share with you guys is when it comes to beauty brands, most of them are all clean. When I have found products at Whole Foods, which Whole Foods does set a pretty high standard for clean products. However, I have found products in lotions, like ingredients in lotions, that are not necessarily on this green. They're more on the orange, like a 4 and a 5 and a 6. And I was really surprised. And I don't know if that's because Whole Foods has been bought out by Amazon and they've kind of swayed a little bit on some of their ingredients. But a good example is I was using this lotion called Skin Food. It was the best lotion I have found at over the counter at a Whole Food store. So hydrating, so nourishing. And I shared it with the client. She's like, "Hey, there's an ingredient in here that's a 4." And I was like, "What?" And a 4 is not terrible. I don't want to say it's a terrible, but a 4, it did have immunotoxicities in it, that particular ingredient. It did have skin allergies, so it had the potential to cause skin irritation for some people. And the EWG listed it as use moderately. Well, most people don't use lotion moderately. I use it every day. So, that's just not something that I chose to keep in my current schedule, my current routine or regimen. I did switch over to this brand. It's by New Zealand, which is great because they have really good ethics around ingredients. It's called Manuka Honey Cream, and this is by Balm of Gilead, Gilead. You can get it on Amazon. It's about 17, 20 bucks and it's balm and it's literally just Manuka honey and let me see the ingredients. Oh, this is made from tallow. So it's tallow, fruit oil, beeswax, Manuka honey, which is great for healing wounds, and it's antimicrobial. It has some citrus in it. It's great. It has rosemary, which is also antimicrobial, and this has been extremely well for dry skin. I take hot showers, and so my skin gets really dry. This is awesome. And it smells amazing and it's super clean. So if you like more of those deep, rich balms for your elbows, your knees, this has been amazing. I personally have not found too many other brands around lotion that's really clean. Um, I also haven't done a whole lot of digging around it, just what Whole Foods has and natural grocers. And I'm sure there's other ones, but my experience with other natural ones is they'll either sit on your skin and be maybe too oily and they're not like hydrating, or they're just straight up just not hydrating. Um, has anybody else experienced that with lotion? Has anybody else found some good lotions, clean lotions that they've liked or struggled with? It's okay if you guys haven't. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm trying to remember the name of the one I have. It's a shea butter and I don't remember what's all in it now. I originally got it at Whole Foods and I probably need to double check the label too.
Yeah. It's like we trust companies. Like I just trust Whole Foods. I'm like, whatever I get, it's gonna be clean. Like, no. That's happened to me like several times. I just don't look. And that's okay. Like I'm not perfect. Um, I still use some products that are like not the best, but I'm mindful about how often I use it. So, for me, just using that lotion because right now I am pregnant, I don't want to be using a product that has a four in it. But if I used it once a week, I'm sure that that's fine. Um, and so I'll go through more of these products, and the idea is just to create more awareness. And so coal tar dyes. So the next chemical, if you've ever colored your hair, you've been exposed to some coal tar dyes. um, the biggest thing is when exposed to hair dyes, it's trying not to have it touch your scalp. When you just put it on your hair, it's not as toxic, but when it's being soaked in your scalp and then you're applying heat, that's where it has like the most amount of toxicity to it. This one, there we go. I put it on this one. Polycystic aromatic hydrocarbon chemical. I had it right. Um, it's a forever chemical. This leads to DNA damage and non-cancer toxicities like reproductive and developmental issues. Um, it's unfortunate that there are a lot of women who struggle with getting pregnant or having issues with reproductive, health. And I truly believe that if we didn't have as many toxins in our environment, we wouldn't see that as often. Food also, we know that it plays a huge role, but you know, that we can eat the best foods and we're still getting exposed to these toxins. So these are really big in shampoos and conditioners, detanglers, styling products, hair removal products, baby shampoo, which is super unfortunate, and lipsticks as well. So long-term exposure to these can cause inflammation, cancer, tumors, and increased risk of developing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. Um, so a lot of these chemicals are going to affect your lymphatic system. Have you guys ever heard of dry brushing? Yeah, Michelle, tell me, what do you know about dry brushing?
Um, so I mean, I originally heard about it when I was doing pediatric physical therapy for kids that are like have sensory disorders.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but then I've also heard of using it as a way to stimulate the lymph system.
Yes.
Um, but that's all I know. Like, I don't know like the protocol or whatever.
Okay.
Actually a certified manual lymphatic drainage therapist. So I just use my hands because it's more effective. But when you're trying to have somebody learn how to do it at home who maybe can't handle the full process, it's a great place to start.
Yeah, totally agree. So I do this in the shower, and that's the time that I just remember. So when you're dry brushing, it is stimulating the lymphatic system. It's stimulating your body to release those toxins more so like in your armpits, like all over your sweat glands. You can literally get this anywhere. It does kind of hurt at first when you're not used to it. It's pretty rough. And when you're dry brushing, you want to start mainly at the feet first and feet to knees, and you're dry brushing up. upward motion towards the heart. And you'll do about 3 to 4 strokes. This is great for exfoliating. This is great for improving the appearance of cellulite. If you currently have cellulite and you start dry brushing, it's not going to make it go away, but it's definitely going to improve the skin texture of cellulite. And what it does is it's evening out the skin. You're draining the lymphatic system and you're stimulating collagen when you're brushing the skin. So you can do your whole body, and then when you get to your upper body, just making sure it's always towards the heart. So that's a really great way to produce more collagen in your skin. Another one is gua sha. Have you guys heard of gua shing? No. Okay. I have a gua sha and I backed it. Um, so gua sha is a stone and it's shaped like a certain way. And you massage your face with it and you'll do certain motions. You can even do it with your hands if you put them like this and you massage your skin. You're almost doing the same thing as a dry brushing. You're stimulating your lymphatic system and you're applying pressure and you're moving things around. I mean, how many of us like usually get a massage on our face or usually stimulate muscles in this area? Not super often. So this is going to help with fine lines and wrinkles. Um, and you can do it like along the jawline. You can do it on the forehead. If I had my gua sha, I would show you each one. But there's different techniques that you can do underneath the eyes to reduce puffiness. So those are really great ways to reduce inflammation, reduce puffiness, redness, produce more collagen in your skin. And it just helps with making you look more youthful, aging gracefully. So those are some good tips. Now, I used to dye my hair, and I still like to dye my hair. I'm not perfect. I haven't dyed my hair in a long time. Some really good alternatives if you are blessed with lighter hair, you can use there is natural hair dye at natural grocers and Sprouts. It's made with henna. And henna is a natural, they use natural coloring agents. They're not made with like harsh chemicals, so they obviously don't last as long, but they're non-toxic. So henna works great if you want to go darker. If you have darker hair and you want to go lighter, obviously that's not going to work. Bleach is gonna work. And bleach is not the best. But as long as the bleach is not touching your scalp, I'm super grateful that I have a hairdresser who does like natural products. And she's like, if you ever want to go lighter, you can bleach the ends and you can do like a balayage or a ombre, and you don't have to touch the root, which makes it better. So the idea is to make this sustainable and to reduce our environmental toxins. I don't think that we're ever gonna completely be toxin free, but we just want to reduce it. So, okay, so coal tar dyes, these are all of the names underneath that chemical. Lots of chemicals here. So coal tar solution, tar, coal, carbon cord, coal tar solution. I think I have that in there twice. Oopsies. Coal tar solution USP, crude coal tar, Estar, and Pervotar, KC261, all of these other ones. Some of them I cannot pronounce. So again, you don't need to know this, but the idea is, I'll tell you a story. I went to Sally's. Are you guys familiar with Sally's, the beauty store? Okay, cool. So they're all across. If you're not, that's okay. It's a conventional, I say conventional hair beauty store. And I was getting some irritation from shaving because the strip on the moisturizing strip was creating some irritation. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that or had an allergic reaction from shaving from the moisturizing strip. Have you guys? Am I the only one? That's okay. um, so I was like, I'm gonna wax. And so I went to Sally's and didn't even think. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a clean wax. No. It was full of chemicals. My skin got way more irritated. I literally had razor burn. It looked like razor burn for like a week. It was awful. It's like, this isn't for me. I can't wax. But there is natural wax, which I did find, which doesn't have anything to do with coal tar, but just an example of uh, companies like that or places like that are typically all going to have toxic chemicals. And I should have known better, but I'm not perfect. So you can buy honey wax, and it literally just has honey in it. And you heat that up. Um, and that's great. And so just looking out for healthier alternatives. Amazon is my go-to. I personally love Amazon because they do have a lot of options. Um, and just knowing that your generic grocery store is just probably not going to have clean stuff. You're going to have to specifically search those clean ingredients. So I definitely learned my lesson and, realized I already knew. I already knew they were going to have bad stuff, but I went there anyways. So, okay, next one. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, dibutyl phthalates. This is also known as DBP, and the EWG typically classifies phthalates as a 10. These are in color cosmetics, fragrance lotions, body washes, and hair care products, nail polish, and nail polish treatments. So you're typically going to find phthalates also too, like when you go get your nails done. It's used as a plasticizer to make them hard, to prevent breakage. It's also used in an unlisted fragrance in many products as well. It's absorbed through the skin, which most of the ingredients will be absorbed through the skin, and it's also mutagenic. Um, so what that means is that phthalates are not mutagenic themselves, but when they're combined with other chemicals, they make other chemicals mutagenic, meaning that they can mutate your DNA, they change your DNA, which is awful. So I love this is a brand of hair care product that I've been using. This is Leaf and Flower. Um, I'm a little bit high maintenance when it comes to my hair because it's 98% humidity in Texas. So frizziness is a thing. Um, so this is a company that's no phthalates, no parabens, cruelty free. Um, are they the cleanest? Probably not, but they are the cleanest for a salon quality. Now, if you don't care, you're like, I'm not going to be too, high maintenance with my hair. I just want it to, get it clean, smell good, and do its job. Prose, Prose, is a super clean brand. They use all clean ingredients, and I've used them before, and I really, really like them. The only reason I stopped was because they do require a membership. So you do have to order every month. You can pause it or move it. And two, they are a little bit pricey, but high quality. Love it. High quality. So for a bottle about this big, depending on how often you wash your hair, is $40. And to me, I think $40 is doable, but instead of like this much, I'd rather have like this much for $40. So, but I will say excellent. Excellent products. Loved them. So, Leaf and Flower is my next one. They are super clean and all of they're that's another thing I look for in companies. I will look at the company website and I will see like what are they about? What are they advocating for? How transparent are they on their website about their products? That is something that I really look for. And that is why I like Hourglass. That's why I like Merit. I did like Leaf and Flower, or I do. And I also really love 11. It's an Australian company, hair product company. And Australia does have very high, strict rules around their ingredients in their products. So I found all of these products through my hair lady. I call her hair lady, but I mean my hairstylist lady or my haircut lady. Um, and she does more natural ingredients. So she's anti-phthalates, parabens, she's cruelty free. Um, And 11 uses more natural scents, so you're not going to get those super perfumey scents. I personally don't like that. Um, and they work really, really good. They smell good, they work good, and they're about $30 a bottle, and the bottle is actually like a good size, and you can get it on Amazon, and it's about $20 a bottle. So to me, that's more my price friendly. So any questions or anything that you guys would love to share in your experience with hair products?
Shayla, have you done any research on keratin treatments or smoothing treatments?
Yes, that is a great question. Brazilian blowouts. I was actually, you beat me to it. You beat me to
Oh,
it, Elaine. We'll skip to that one because actually that's a good one. Smoothing treatments are going to be formaldehyde releasing agents. Yeah, that's the embalming fluid that they use. And that's what makes your hair so shiny and beautiful and no flyaways. So, unfortunately, keratin treatments, they are less toxic than the Brazilian blowouts, but they are still toxic. It depends on the quality. Like, there's different brands and the different qualities. I've never done one, so I can't say, but when I asked my hairstylist about it, she says that they're okay, but they're not as effective because obviously they're going to be more natural. So you can use it, but I would really look into the company and see the quality that they're providing because you can use a synthetic keratin. Yeah. So we're here. So let's talk about formaldehyde. Um, Formaldehyde is between a 5 and 8, depending on how much is in there and the type of formaldehyde agent. Um, yeah, so 5 to 8 scale. Nail polish, you'll find them in nail glue, eyelash glue, hair gel, hair smoothing products, baby shampoo, unfortunately, body soap, body wash, and color cosmetics. So, what makes formaldehyde releasing agents so toxic is that it is a carcinogenic, but it's the fumes that we actually get um, the inflammation from, the irritation. So currently worldwide, 21 million tons is produced industrially, which is quite a bit. Um, Formaldehyde include the production of resins used in wood products, vinyl flooring, and other plastics, permanent pressed fabrics, and toilet bowl cleaners. So those are just some other ways that we can get um, this toxic chemical. Like I said, the inflammation or the risk really comes from inhaling it. So they use formaldehyde as a preservative to, one, make a product last longer, but to also prevent it from growing bacteria, which is great. We don't want bacteria in our makeup, but we also don't want it to cause cancer. So there's other ways that we can do that. IARC, so the International Agency of Research on Cancer, classifies this as a carcinogenic, like I mentioned. So that's why I do use the Frizz remedy. This does not have formaldehyde in it, and this works pretty well. It's not like some of those other brands. What am I trying to think of? What are the other salon brands I used to use? Um, Man, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on Amazon and it's a very common product. And they had formaldehyde in their product, and I could tell because it was phenomenal. It worked great. And so I had to stop using them because I know that they were toxic. By the time my hair was dyed and I needed something to heal it and replenish it. But there are other products. So things using like apple cider vinegar for your scalp is really good. So if you do tend to have more oily scalp and dry ends, apple cider vinegar to get the junk out. Doing a hair mask once a week, a non-toxic hair mask. I use Playa, Playa. It's beach in Spanish. And it's really good. And so a hair mask has definitely helped nourish my ends. And then I use an oil on the scalp, which I did not bring. I meant to. I use a rosemary oil on the scalp, which is antimicrobial, and it gets off of all of the gunk. I try not to wash my hair for about 4 days, and that does tend to build up some stuff. So I put the oil in, I leave it in for about 30 minutes to an hour. Now, I don't do this every time, but I try to because it does make a significant difference. So when you take care of your scalp, your ends also get taken care of because when you brush in that oil, it moves towards the ends. Also, the type of hairbrush you use. So I use a wooden hairbrush, and one of them has boar bristles, and the boar bristles help to take the oil from your scalp and then nourish your ends. That is huge. That has helped a lot with frizziness as well. And then wooden brushes and combs, they do pretty much the same thing, but the boar bristles really help to push that through. So that would be my recommendation as a swap, is just taking care of your hair, trying not to dye your hair as much. Applying too much heat to your hair creates more breakage, more frizziness. In the summer, trying not to expose your hair to chlorine, which is it that dries out your hair, makes it more frizzy, makes it more brittle. And then just being mindful about how many ingredients are in your products, because some of them do the opposite. I was using this one by it's the same brand that I'm trying to think of. It was a volumizing shampoo. As soon as I started using this volumizing shampoo, my hair started to fall out increasingly. I mean, like globs of hair. I was like freaking out. And as soon as I stopped using it, it stopped. So I don't know what was in there, but I was I was like, I really want some more volume in my hair. I knew it wasn't clean, and I went there anyways, and I regretted it. So that's why I'm sticking to my natural ones. But it was, it's going to come to me. Redken products. Yup. Yeah. Their acid bonding formula is great, but I know it has formaldehyde in it. But great for breakage hair if you do struggle with frizziness. Not the cleanest though. Okay, cool. Any questions on formaldehyde or any insights on that? Yep, we're good? Okay, cool. Oh, I want to share with you guys. So other ones to look out for, these are other toxic chemicals that fall under formaldehyde. So it's not going to always say formaldehyde. It's usually going to be hidden in another ingredient. Okay, let's move on to parabens. So really interesting thing I found out about parabens is that it is naturally found in food, like barley, strawberries, currants, vanilla, carrots, and onions. I found that so incredibly interesting. The difference, though, between what's naturally found in nature and what men are producing, man-made chemicals are producing, is obviously the toxicity and the quality of it. So when we're taking parabens or we're eating them through foods, it's going through metabolism, it's going through that digestion process, and it's breaking down differently. When we put parabens on our skin, it is getting absorbed straight into the bloodstream. And so that's why the EWG classifies it between a 5 and a 7. It is an endocrine disruptor, which is estrogen mimicking. We're going to increase the estrogen in our body, which causes hormonal imbalances, painful periods, painful cramps, usually oftentimes more breast tenderness. Thyroid tends to be affected. Thyroid also gets affected when we have too much heavy metals, or exposed to too many heavy metals, aluminum and mercury. So where are we finding parabens in products? So hair products most of the time, lotions, cosmetics, facial and shower cleansers, and scrubs. But you guys got an awesome scrub now. So I've never used Simple Body, but I've looked into their company and I absolutely love what they represent. Very transparent about what their mission is, why they want to create clean products for women. So this is a facial scrub that you guys got. This is a lavender and lemon. It smells so beautifully. It smells so good. So I absolutely love scrubs for, excuse me, exfoliating and just getting that smooth texture on your skin. Something else, another brand that I really like is Mad Hippie. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this company. Their products are super affordable, between $15 and $30 on Amazon. And this one is a peptide serum. Peptides are great for reducing inflammation, helping your skin produce more collagen, reducing fine lines and wrinkles, tightening of the skin, reducing acne, reducing the appearance of acne scarring. So this is a really great product, and I like to use this in the morning. Another product I really like is The Ordinary. These are a little bit pricier. You can get this at Sephora or Amazon. Uh, they're about anywhere between $25 to $40, depending on the product that you're getting. I like to use their retinol. Retinol is awesome for cleaning out the pores, reducing fine lines and wrinkles, tightening the skin. This is a very low dosage. It's only 1% in squalene. There's about 4 different kinds of retinol, um, and the intensities of those retinols are different. And be careful if you do use retinol and getting sun exposure, because that is not a good combination. You can get a lot of sunburn from that. But anywho, so parabens do affect our DNA. And when exposed to the sun, it can accelerate skin aging and cause DNA damage. So the thing that I always want to recognize in skincare is some of the skincare, one doesn't do well with sunlight, like obviously retinol. Retinol is just vitamin A and it has different forms. Um, but things like parabens, we think that skin cancer comes from the sun, when in reality, it actually comes from all of the toxic chemicals that we're putting onto our body, on top of lack of nutrients. So, really good, which I'm going to cover this here in a second, sunscreen, but a really good natural internal sunscreen is omega 3s. Getting in enough omega 3s will naturally protect your skin from getting sunburn. Now, obviously, certain people with their skin tones, depending on how much melanin you have in your skin, or you're more sensitive to getting sunburn. I naturally just tan. I don't really burn, and so I'm not the best candidate for always putting on sunscreen. But it is important because too much sun can increase your aging, increase pigmentation in your skin. So avoiding parabens, just looking out for companies that are clean. The ones that I shared with you in the hair products that I like, those 3 are great. I'm sure there's more out there, but once I like something, I kind of just stick to it. It just like works. So to me, the leaf and flower and the 11 are great middle ground of, they're high quality, they're more salon quality, but without all the toxic chemicals. If you want to go really clean, really granola, I like the pros. Okay, any questions, any insights on that? Okay, we'll move on. So, fragrances. Let me move this. This is a big one. We all get exposed to fragrance, even when we don't want to. We go over to a friend's house and they have an air freshener, or we walk into a department store and we're smelling all those perfumes. I know that that's been my experience before. So, fragrance it's a term, just like natural flavors in foods. Fragrance can have over 3,000 different chemicals in it. And the companies don't have to label it. The FDA doesn't make that mandatory because it's patented. It's a patented fragrance for that specific scent. And so the areas that we typically see this, it's abundant. So sunscreen, shampoo, soap, body wash, deodorant, body lotion, makeup, facial cream, skin toner, serums, exfoliating scrubs, perfumes. I didn't even include in here cleaning products, trash bags. Me and my husband were trying to buy a trash bag the other day at our local grocery store, and they all had scents. We could not find one that didn't have a scent. Even when they say doesn't contain scent, it still contains some sort of scent to mask the bad odor. So I buy the 7th generation trash bags. They have 0 scent and they work phenomenally. A really good perfume company that's very transparent that I personally really like, it's called Skylar, and they make beautifully scented perfumes. I don't really wear perfume anymore because I know how toxic it is. And if I do wear perfume, it's on a special occasion when I'm, going to an event. And I don't spray it directly on my skin. I spray it on my clothes. Some depending on how intense the scent is, I won't even spray it on my clothes. I'll spray it in the air and then I just gently walk through it. So that's how you can, kind of avoid it. Skylar, I really do love. Sephora, I believe, does sell them. And they have like little ones that you can put in there, and you can look up their website, and they specifically talk about how they use their fragrance, like what they derive them from, which I really love. And so the issue with this is that there's a lot of undisclosed toxins in these, and they can cause irritation, allergies, migraines, asthma. Some of the ingredients can actually provoke asthma attacks in nearly 75% of asthmatics, and it can actually worsen asthma issues, asthma conditions. So I know for some of my clients, fragrance is a huge thing that will invoke a headache or a migraine. So using essential oils is also really great. I do love to use like doTERRA. doTERRA has some really awesome essential oils. Young Living also uses great essential oils. I don't use air plugins. I only use essential oils in my home. And doTERRA, or maybe I think it's Young Living, also has a formula where it is antimicrobial, so it'll kill bacteria in the air. That's also really awesome. So, in another workshop, but I'll give you like a little teaser here, detoxifying your air, things like using a plant. I have this peace lily, and peace lilies will also detoxify your air from just toxins in the environment. And I'll go through that more in another workshop. I just get excited. But yeah, so essential oils is awesome, or for me, I just don't use any. I didn't bring it, but I do use deodorant from Native. Have you guys heard of that brand? Yeah. Game changer when I use a sensitive skin, the non-baking soda. Michelle, I don't know if you've tried this formula. For years, I struggled with finding a deodorant that actually worked and that masked my sweatiness when I would work out. And I finally used a sensitive skin with no baking soda, and it works like a regular aluminum murder toxic formula. It works fantastic. And my husband, he gets irritated from using baking soda formulas. He used a non-baking soda formula, and that worked really, really well. So I truly love Native. Another good brand is called Salt and Stone. You can get them online, and I've heard great reviews on their what is it? Their charcoal formula. They have a charcoal formula that doesn't have baking soda, I believe. That one works really well, and they're made from essential oils as well. So those are some really good hacks. Body wash, I only buy my body wash from Whole Foods, and they make all of theirs natural, or I get it locally at the farmer's market. Serums, another serum that I don't have, but I do use the Mad Hippie quite often. I do like Polish Choice on Amazon as well. They have some really good serums, and they're about in the $30 range. So they have some really good stuff. You want to check all of their products though, because not all of their formulas are going to be within the super clean range. So it depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so fragrance, perfume, essential oil blend. Sometimes we're using artificial essential oil blends, and then aroma. Those are the things that we want to look out for fragrance products. Okay, heavy metals. we're typically going to find aluminum, like I mentioned, and mercury. Um, some metals, contaminants of the chemicals combining process. Some metals are contaminants. So they're going to be contaminants, things like um, in lip products, I know a lot of their coloring can contain heavy metals just from the processing of things. Another way that we find aluminum is in our water. There's a lot of aluminum in city water. And these are typically, like I mentioned, really harmful for our immune system. They're cancerous. They are higher in accumulation in iron, nickel, chromium, zinc, cadmium, and mercury. Cadmium is also naturally found in the soil. So that one we want to be more careful for in foods. But we find them in lip products, whitening toothpaste. So the most common one is I can't even remember the name. I haven't used it in years. I brought actually my teeth whitening one. I use the Himalaya brand. I don't know what you guys have tried, but this brand is really awesome, super clean. There's other ones on the market that I really do like, but this one has worked really well. Moisturizers, concealers, blushes, eyeshadows. I know I've experienced irritations from using certain eyeshadows and eyeliners. So I always use either Merit or the Hourglass. Milk Cosmetics is also a really good one for non-toxic. I realize that it's almost time and I'm still going. So if you guys can still stay on, I'm almost done. But yeah, heavy metals. The biggest thing is reducing our toxic exposure, getting water filters, and buying cosmetics that specifically say either no heavy metals or to just provide cleaner ingredients. That's going to be a huge one. These are chemicals that we want to look out for that usually will tell you like, hey, this does have heavy metals, hydrogenated cottonseed oil, sodium, hexametaphosphate, lead acetate, things like that. Okay. I have two more and then we can do questions. Triclosan is commonly used as a preservative, and this one in particular impacts the thyroid. Cellular proliferation, which that creates a cancerous environment, interferes with estrogen and testosterone. We find this a lot in face makeup, lotions, wound antiseptics, garbage bags, laundry detergents, hand sanitizers, creams, shaving products, antiperspirants, and things like that. It passes through the skin and it interferes with hormone function. So I know one brand, Bare Minerals, specifically on their website, says that they are triclosan free. Brands like MAC makeup does have triclosan. They do have parabens. They do have heavy metals. So that's a brand that I would definitely stay away from. But yeah, this one is, characterized as a forever chemical. So when we are exposed, we do have to intentionally detox. And we'll talk about that in our next one. But we want to make sure that we're getting cleaner ingredients and looking out for those products. Okay.
Hey, Shayla.
Yeah.
I had read an article at one point that it was also found in like breast tissue and stuff like that. Like we store it in our fatty tissues in our body.
Yep.
Nasty.
It is. It is. A lot of these are fat soluble. And so, we could lose the weight and then, have it, they're called free radicals when we lose weight and we're having those toxins. And that's what causes a lot of the inflammation. And so when women struggle to lose weight or they're weight resistant, it's usually because they have a high amount of toxins or endocrine disruptors. So yeah, absolutely, Michelle. Cool. So triclosan, TSC, trichlocarbon, TCC. Those are the main ones that you'll see. Okay. Oxybenzene. So this is typically in sunscreen. It's funny because when you actually first research oxybenzene, there's a lot of like college medical articles that say that this is completely safe. But then when you look at EWG, they list everything that's toxic. So what's really interesting about researching certain ingredients, you have to think about who is funding this research. What is it? Why would they say that this chemical is clean? Like, what best interest do they have? Unfortunately, the lobbyists pay organizations to say that this chemical is safe, and it is absolutely not safe. 97% of Americans have this in their bodies, and this is by the CDC. This is by the CDC saying that this one is toxic. I was looking at Harvard Health saying that this chemical was totally not toxic, totally safe, and that's just not the case. It is an endocrine disruptor and it is inflammatory. So when we put oxybenzene on our skin and we expose ourselves to the sun, it actually creates more inflammation. You're more susceptible to getting skin cancer when you're exposed to oxybenzene. This chemical also serves a huge damage to marine wildlife and coral reefs specifically. They're finding that the coral reefs are dying and there's a high amount of oxybenzene in the oceans. It is affecting it tremendously. So the state of Hawaii actually banned it because it is completely ruining their marine wildlife. And so a really good swap is using zinc sunscreen. You can get this on Amazon or Whole Foods. It is completely natural. And then obviously just eating a rich omega-3 diet is going to be extremely important. Goop is made by Gwyneth Paltrow. Get this on Amazon as well. She makes clean sunscreens. She makes lip balms and creams and powders. So if you do struggle with more dry skin, the lotions are going to be great. I personally struggle with more oily skin, so I use the powder in the summer, and it works great. Doesn't clog your pores and has actually been helpful with reducing sun damage. Okay, any questions on oxybenzene? Any insights? No? Okay, cool. Well, moving on. Okay, these are the other chemicals linked to oxybenzene that we just want to look out for. Some things I'm just like super strict on, like when it comes to sunscreen, I really try hard not to use anything toxic or anything with fragrance. And so I just use the zinc. It's by Alba, Alba, I believe. And they use a really good non-toxic sunscreen as well, like a spray on. Okay, I wanted to provide you guys with an additional one more slide. Now, this isn't, excuse me, in particular to any of the chemicals that we've talked about, but this is specifically over menstruating products, hygiene products. So tampons, pads, those, it's really interesting. And the women's Voices for the Earth did a specific study on these hygiene products and found horrible ingredients. One of them being heptane, which is a neurotoxin and skin irritant, hexane, which is a neurotoxin, carbon disulfide, a reproductive toxin, methylene chloride, which is an irritant, pesticide residue in the most common, like Playtex, had one of the worst chemicals in it. Toluene, reproductive skin toxin, methyl ethyl ketone, which is an irritant. And I did link up the women's voices. I thought we were going to have time to go over it, but oopsies, we're not, which is totally okay. If you just go to the women's voices, the article is up there in the research that they did, and they have a graph of all of the companies that they studied, and it was quite interesting. It was honestly really scary because these companies do not have to label their products. The FDA does not regulate them. And so kind of going back to PCOS and endometriosis and having these fibroids, 1000%, I truly believe that is linked to these hygiene products. And so we as women use these for years. Our moms have used these. And so if you've ever experienced those, it's probably due to the toxicities. So it is reversible. We just have to detox these chemicals. So clean brands, I want to close with this. Oh, when it comes to female hygiene products, what I look out for is I only buy organic pads and tampons and things like that. You can use a menstrual cup. Um, I'm personally not a big fan of a menstrual cup, but I do have clients who love it. So totally up to you and your preference. These are all of the ones that I have put together of clean brands. Now, there's definitely other ones, but these are the ones that I'm most familiar with and that I've tried and that I really like. Thrive Cosmetics does have a really, really awesome clean mascara, and it is waterproof, and they have a non-waterproof one, and it is very good if you like more of that dramatic look of mascara. Um, I didn't put Milk makeup on here, but Milk is it's spelled MILK, Milk makeup, and they're all cruelty free, and I do really like their mascaras as well. Hourglass, I've used their concealer, amazing. Merit Beauty is great. Well People makes phenomenal skincare. Dime Beauty, really great high-end skincare. Say Beauty has gorgeous makeup for blushes and creams. They have a lot of cream products. If you like more hydration, great. The only one I haven't tried is Thrive Cosmetics and Color Science, but they have really great options for more natural skin-based foundations. These are all more natural looking type of makeup, which I feel like that's our demographic anyways. So, um, but yeah, any questions or insights or anything you like to share, ladies?
Lydia and I both had a question about the native products. She said that she uses their shampoo and conditioner, and then I personally use their deodorant, their like lotion, and their deodorant. Oh wait, I said deodorant, lotion, and what was the other one I used? I can't remember right now, but are those also clean?
Yeah, great question. I don't love their shampoos. I haven't used their lotion, so I don't know.
I'll
I
double
don't,
check.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
double check because Native does have a deodorant that's a spray deodorant, and they use petroleum chemicals, which is super unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say like most of these brands that I listed are all clean, like all of their products are clean. Beauty Counter is awesome. They have great stuff and very transparent. So is Ilia. Ilia is definitely more on the expensive side, but with Native, I have found like when I've explored with other things, they haven't always been the cleanest. So cleaner than like what is it? That other super like cleaner than Dove, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, not always the cleanest.
No, I'll have to double check my because I it was their body wash I always like also use. So I'm like, I don't know. Everything has something now.
Yeah, right. I went over time. I do apologize, but I wanted to make sure I provided the most amount of like support and information because I feel like this is so valuable and just helping you guys get well or just maybe even elevate your health. Um, and so I wanted to make sure I covered everything. So I do apologize about the time. Um, but was this helpful? Like, yes, Michelle?
So I've just recently started using Beauty Counter, and my rep had texted me today saying, hey, if you want something, get it before midnight tonight, because then the website's going down. And
Oh,
while you were talking, I just had clicked on it and it's already down, but the note says the company is like reorganizing or whatever.
uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I'm not sure what it might be called or what it's gonna become. Because
Oh,
if you go there now, the beauty counter business that you've known over the past years has been forced to wind down. I'm excited to share the news that I'm creating a new company that will allow us to sell the products you know and love, pushing forward the important mission of making the industry in our world safer and healthier. As we get the new company up and running, we're going to take a short pause to build a new and better company for the future. So you can't get anything from Beauty Counter from now until maybe May 1st.
well,
But I've loved their face lotion. I have 2 different versions of it and I use their concealer and anyway.
yeah, yeah. Um,
So
oh
they're
man.
supposed to come back, but I don't know what they're going to be called. But I'm sure if you go to Beauty Counter, it'll eventually link you to the right place. But
Yeah, good to know. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Um, Elaine, any questions, insights?
No, I mean, it's overwhelming when I
I'm
think of
sorry.
all the products I've used over all the years. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, where do you start?
Mm,
To, okay, so I have some Thrive Cosmetics, as I had an allergic reaction to something, and I switched to Thrive eye makeup, and I think that's okay.
yeah.
But there's, all the other things from hair to toe. Where to start?
I love that question. Um, Start with, as soon as you're done with a product, like for me, I don't really wear a lot of makeup, so I do still have toxic foundation. I just don't want to throw it away because it does work. So I just wait till I'm done, and then when I'm done with the product, I explore something new. And what I do is I like to go to Sephora and I just ask like, hey, what's a good concealer or a good foundation for full coverage, medium coverage, or light coverage? And I only want clean beauty. And I tell them that, and they're the experts, and then they'll let you test out products. um, true. Depending. So, I would start somewhere like, what do you use most often in your shampoo and conditioner, I would say, because that goes on your scalp and your brain. So I would start there, and I would, just slowly make a change here and there. I know it can be overwhelming, and it's taken me over 10 years to really detoxify my home, and even then it's not fully detoxified. I still get my nails done. I get them done every now and then because I truly enjoy it, and that it makes me feel good, and it's a time for me to relax. And I just say, hey, like, something I enjoy. I reduce my toxic exposure in other areas. Um, and that's it. Like, we're just not going to be able to get rid of everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so you just take it one day at a time, be kind to yourself, have compassion, and just know that you're doing your best. You're on the journey, and you're never going to arrive. It's a
No,
continuous day-to-day choice.
the keratin is going to be the last thing to go.
That's totally okay. If you don't ever want to get rid of the keratin, don't. If you
I'll
really
get rid
like
of it in the winter.
yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I still have things that make me feel beautiful and that I really love. And so I make compromises with myself. And I think that's just the best way to do it. Just make compromises with yourself, explore new products. I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on deodorants until I found like the holy grail of deodorant. I've
Which
thrown
one is
away
that? Which deodorant is it that you mentioned?
the native baking the sensitive skin, so it doesn't have any baking soda. That one has worked phenomenally. So I would say start there. Another one, so shampoo and conditioner. And then, with makeup, what do you like about a good concealer? What are you looking for in a makeup? That's how I found Hourglass, because they do have full coverage for concealer, and it's not cakey, and it's smooth and it's creamy, and they're a really good clean brand. Merit Beauty, I love Merit Beauty because they're very natural looking, and I really love what the company represents, you know. So I would say think about that, and sometimes I just like look at products and I'll make a Pinterest board and I just save things. Yeah.
Will there be a PDF of all these brands and things we've talked about to just
We
have
do have, yeah, we do have a comprehensive guide. It's more for non-members, but we definitely can share it with you guys. And it has like a list of things to look out for. It also covers housing products, like cleaning products and things like that. So I can share that with you guys. Sarah can send it out to you with all of that information. And then I believe I can share. I wonder if I could share this slide with you. Um, that comprehensive guide will have an awesome swaps for you guys that you can look at and keep.
And this will also be on after this is done, it'll be uploaded on the membership portal as well.
Right.
Thank you.
This and your PowerPoint. So
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Yes. So you'll have the recording as well. And then you also have me, like you guys can reach out to me anytime that you need. I'm here to support you, um, and provide any of the additional information you guys need. Cool. Michelle, I'd love to know your thoughts on like where did you start with cleaner products? Like how did you start making swaps?
So I went more from the perspective of skin coverage. So, and I don't really use hardly any makeup other than just a facial moisturizer and a concealer. So for me, it was more about moisturizing lotion and then like soap, body wash. What am I putting on my skin? Because I'm thinking if I'm in the shower and I take a really hot shower too, my pores are open. So how many more chemicals am I absorbing in the heat of the shower?
Mm,
And I shower more frequently than I wash my hair. And so again, I feel like I'm exposed to the body wash more than my shampoos. And right now I'm actually using a shampoo bar
oh,
that I bought at Whole Foods, and I cannot for the life of me remember the brand. And I was trying to like search on the Whole Food app to figure out what it was and what's all in it. But it's got Ayurvedic herbs and things in it. So it's got like clove and rosemary and different stuff. Um, so I have what body wash am I using now? I alternate between old school Dr. Bronner's. I like the
I like
lemon,
that word.
and then I have some peppermint too if I really need to pick me up, but just be aware that the peppermint in private places is a little extra exciting.
Yeah.
Just if you've never used a peppermint oil, true peppermint oil, like you're like, whoa.
Yep.
And then I like the Pasha exfoliating scrubs, but I haven't
Ooh, yeah.
ingredients, so I'm not 100% sure if it's
Yeah.
got scary stuff in it. I've been using the grounding CBD oil one as my favorite.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I like that. Lush. I don't know if you guys have heard of Lush.
Mm-hmm.
They make great products as well, for body care. You
Yeah.
know,
And then
go ahead.
for lotion, I found the brand for that, and it's a Alaffia, Alaffia. It's a brand out of
Oh,
Africa, and they're like transparent with their stuff.
ooh,
And I didn't go grab my bottle to double check it, but I used the lavender one of that, and it's um like the top ingredients look good, but I didn't run it past the EWG to see if there are any things in there that's questionable.
yeah. I'm sure countries like that definitely have more clean ingredients. Um, I was gonna say, to your point, Elaine, of, the keratin, one of my like non-negotiables I've tried so hard to make a swap for is dry shampoo. And I've tried natural ones and they actually irritate my scalp more. They make my hair super flat and it looks like I have foot powder in my hair. So, because it's white, and it's not spraying. You have to push the bottle and the air comes out and it's so messy. And I've tried so hard to find different ones, and I just use the I can't remember the brand. It is Dry Bar. I use a Dry Bar sensitive skin. It's the cleanest one that I found. It doesn't irritate my skin. It does have, propane in it. It does have gasoline. So it's not the cleanest, but it works. It just works. It's one of those things where I sweat a lot. There's a lot of humidity here. So you're going to have your non-negotiables, and that's totally going to be okay. I make compromises in other areas with my lotion and my shampoos and my skincare. So just know that we're not going to be perfect.
And for nothing else, this has really opened my eyes to what I should, I just have been buying the same things and I'm in a hurry, blah, blah, blah. And so now when I do run out of something, I will look at it and see, well, wait a second, what other options are there that
Yeah.
might be better for me? So I appreciate that very much.
Yes, my pleasure. My pleasure. I just wanted to make sure you guys had the value and the resources and the tools. We will send out the recording. We'll send out that comprehensive guide for you. It's super cool. It does have a lot of great information. Just ignore that it says book a call with a coach because you already have a coach. So, um, but message me if you have any questions. I'd love to support you with anything else that you guys need. Thank you for having the grace that we went over time, and I hope it's okay. Um, and yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Shayla.
No problem. Bye.
Good night.